In Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, a harness maker named Amos Beiler raised 9 children on a 40-acre farm and never once held a mortgage, an insurance policy, or a Social Security card. He will retire with no pension and not a single dollar of debt. His English neighbors assume the Amish keep some secret fund. They do not. What they keep instead is a set of rules drilled in before a child can read, carried unbroken for 300 years. The rule that lets Amos retire without a bank, a policy, or a penny owed is number 1 on this list. They manage money with rules, not apps. Rules built on community and refusal, so plain the people who live them never feel frugal at all. We traded every one of them for easy credit and called it freedom. Amos's rules run through everything that follows. Number 10 quietly replaces an entire insurance company for about $100 a month. Number 7 is a government check they legally refuse to take. And number 1 is the rule that lets an Amish family retire owing no one anything. These 20 rules weren't about being poor, they were about being free. Hit that subscribe button. Let's count them down. Number 20. Owe no one, ever. This is the rule the whole list stands on. The Amish build their lives around a single line of scripture. Owe no man anything. You pay cash, or you wait until you can. Debt is understood as a form of bondage, a chain that hands your future to a lender, and they will not wear it. When a young Amish family cannot pay cash, they borrow from a fund run by their own people, not a bank, and they treat repaying it as a sacred priority. Amos has never owed a bank a dollar in his life, not deprivation, a refusal to hand anyone else the keys to your future. Number 19. Buy land without a bank. An Amish family does not walk into a bank for a mortgage. They save for years, and when they buy, they pay cash, or they borrow from a wealthier Amish neighbor who holds the note himself. Successful Amish businessmen often hold mortgages for younger families, keeping the interest inside the community instead of feeding it to a bank. A farm bought this way is a farm the bank can never take. Amos bought his 40 acres over a decade of saved cash and a loan from a man in his own church. Not a 30-year sentence, a patient purchase that stays yours. Number 18. Pass the land down, never sell it. When an Amish couple grows old, they do not sell the farm on the open market to fund retirement. They give it or leave it to their children. The land stays inside the family and inside the community like an heirloom you can plant on. In return, the children care for the parents to the end. This single tradition removes the entire question of cashing out that drives so much English retirement. Amos will hand his farm to a son and never see it listed for sale. Not an asset to liquidate, an inheritance that ties one generation to the next. Number 17. Build the house you need, not the one you can afford. The Amish build homes that fit real needs, plainly, without the extra square footage no one uses. They avoid the lifestyle creep that has English families buying bigger every few years to match a bigger paycheck. A smaller, simpler home costs less to build, less to heat, less to keep, and it gets paid off faster. Amos's farmhouse has held 11 people and never needed a single addition financed on credit. Not a lack of ambition. The discipline of matching the house to the life instead of the mortgage to the income. Number 16. Live as if you earned a quarter less. There is a plain Amish budgeting principle. Only spend what you would spend if you made 25% less than you do. That built-in margin becomes savings automatically, and it means a bad season never breaks the family because they were never living at the edge of the paycheck. The gap between what they earn and what they spend is the whole foundation. Amos runs his harness business this way and always has a cushion. Not penny pinching, building a wall of margin between your family and every emergency before it arrives. Number 15. Grow and preserve your own food. The Amish table comes largely off the family's own land. A big kitchen garden feeds 11 people through the summer, and the harvest is canned and cellared for winter. Hundreds of jars sealed in the hot weeks of August. Meat comes from animals raised on the farm's own scraps. A family that grows and puts up its own food buys a fraction of what its neighbors do. Amos's cellar holds a year of food he never bought at a store. Not a hobby, a grocery bill that mostly never happens. Number 14. Make it, mend it, or do without. Buying new is the last resort, not the first. A torn harness is repaired, a worn tool is rebuilt, a coat is handed down and restitched until it has warmed 4 children. Hand-me-downs, thrift stores, and garage sales supply most of what a family needs. The old rule runs the household: use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Amos keeps a workbench where broken things go to be reborn instead of replaced. Not making do out of poverty. The plain refusal to pay full price for what your own hands can fix. Here is what outsiders almost never understand about Amish money, and it is bigger than any single rule. To an Amish family, the safety net is not a policy or an account. It is people. They carry no commercial insurance of any kind, not health, not life, not homeowners insurance, because they believe an insurance company ties you to the world and, worse, tells you that you do not need your neighbors. So instead of buying coverage from a corporation, they build it, person by person, over a lifetime of showing up when someone else is in trouble. Every barn raised, every collection taken, every casserole carried to a sick house is a premium paid into a policy no company sells. When Amos faces catastrophe, no adjuster arrives. 200 neighbors do. That is the thing we traded away for a monthly bill. Number 13, let the community be the insurance company. This is the mutual aid that replaces the entire insurance industry. When disaster strikes an Amish family, the church responds. The deacon goes door to door through the district collecting alms until the need is met. A benefit auction or a bake sale raises the rest. Because it is neighbors and not a corporation, no premium ever vanishes and no claim is ever denied. Amos has given to those collections his whole life, knowing the same hands would come for him. Not charity, which would shame them. A community that has already decided you will be all right.
Before we go on, I made something special for you. Guides for people like us who still believe the old ways mattered. They're the forgotten money habits our grandparents lived by, tricks that could save you thousands a year. But this knowledge is disappearing, and once it's gone for good. I've put together 2 books for you plus a free bonus. Imagine how much you could save over the next year by starting today. Scan the QR code on screen now or click the link below. I'll wait.
Number 12, raise the barn for free. When an Amish barn burns, the family does not call a contractor or sign a construction loan. They send word. The next morning, 200 and 300 men arrive with hammers, and by dusk, a new barn stands. A job that would bankrupt an outsider costs the Amish one Saturday, and a great deal of food. The labor that would run into the tens of thousands of dollars is simply given by hands that will be repaid in kind. Amos has swung a hammer at dozens of these, not a construction project, a gift delivered in a single day that no bank was ever part of. Number 11, pay cash and negotiate the medical bill down. With no insurance, the Amish pay hospitals directly in cash soon after the bill arrives. And because they pay fast and in full, they negotiate the price down the way an insurance company would, often far below the sticker price. Some communities run a self-pay medical fund, roughly $90 to $110 a month per member, that covers the major costs. No paperwork, no claims, no denials. Amos's family has paid every medical bill it ever received without a policy. Not reckless. A cash payment that commands a discount an insured patient never sees. Number 10. Fund your own church aid plan. This is the quiet engine underneath the medical care, a formal aid plan owned entirely by the people it insures. Every family pays a monthly amount into the fund, and when a great need comes, the fund pays it out. It is an insurance company with no shareholders, no profit, and no incentive to deny anyone. The money stays among neighbors and answers only to them. Amos pays into his church's plan every month before almost anything else. Not a premium to a stranger. A pool of trust held by the people whose names you know. Number 9. Care for your elders under your own roof. The Amish do not send the old to a facility, and they do not fund retirement with a lifetime of savings drawn down. They build a small attached dwelling, the Grossdoddy house, and the grandparents live there, tended by their own children to the end. The cost of elder care, which devastates so many English families, is simply absorbed into the household. Amos will grow old in a house joined to his sons, fed and cared for by the family he raised. Not a nursing home, Bill, a grandfather living out his years in the family he built. Number 8. Give children a trade, not a tuition. Amish schooling ends around the 8th grade, and then the real education begins, a trade learned beside a parent or a neighbor. By 18, a young man can frame a barn or run a shop, and a young woman can manage a household economy with no tuition and no student loan. The $40,000 a degree now demands simply never enters the equation. Amos's sons apprenticed in the harness shop and owed nothing to anyone by 20. Not a lesser education, a skill in the hands that pays from the first day and can never be repossessed. Now consider what all of this actually produces, set against the way the rest of us live. The average American household carries thousands in credit card debt and a car payment that never ends and measures its wealth by what it can borrow. An Amish family measures wealth backward by what it owes, which is nothing, and by how long it could live with no income at all, which is often a year or more. This is not folklore. The banks that lend in Amish country describe them as their finest customers. Debts paid early, defaults almost unheard of. The discipline did not grow more complex over 3 centuries. It simply got abandoned by everyone outside the community. They kept picking up the same plain tools. We set ours down and called it progress. Number 7. Refuse the government check. With a single form, IRS Form 4029, an Amish person opts out of Social Security and Medicare entirely. No taxes paid in and no benefits ever drawn out. They gave up the government's retirement on purpose because accepting it would mean depending on the state instead of the community and would violate their belief against public insurance. In exchange, the family becomes the pension. Amos will never receive a Social Security dollar, and he never wanted one. Not a benefit lost. A retirement kept inside the family, where they believe it has always belonged. Number 6. Keep the whole family working and contributing. After the 8th grade, Amish children work, and the money they earn outside the home goes into the family purse until they come of age. A large family is not an expense, but a workforce: the farm, the shop, the household run on hands that would otherwise cost a fortune to hire. A child watches the purse feed the whole family and does not resent putting into it. Amos's children handed over their wages for years and were set up on their own farms in return. Not exploitation, a household operating as a single economic unit, everyone in, everyone covered. Number 5, buy used and buy quality once. An Amish family buys the sound used item over the shiny new one nearly every time, and when they do buy, they buy the thing built to last. Furniture, tools, buggies, equipment, bought once, maintained forever, handed down. A well-made hand tool outlives its owner. A cheap one is bought 4 times. The buggy bought once serves a generation. Amos drives equipment his father used before him, not settling for less, refusing to pay again and again for the same thing when one good version lasts a lifetime. Number 4, skip the car, the biggest recurring cost there is. By rejecting the automobile, an Amish family sidesteps what is, after housing, the largest recurring expense in most American budgets. No car payment, no insurance, no gas, no registration, no repairs. A driving horse eats hay, the farm already grows and works 20 years. A buggy, bought once, lasts a generation. The average English family now pays well over $500 a month for a vehicle across an entire working life. Amos has never made a car payment, not a hardship, sidestepping the single deepest hole in the modern budget. Number 3, pay every bill the day it arrives. The Amish pay debts fast and in full: the hospital, the lumberyard, the feed store, all in cash and all at once. Because the payment is immediate, they win discounts. An insured customer waits a year to see, and a bill paid the day it comes never grows a cent of interest. An old bill is treated as a stranger they refuse to keep in the house. A clerk in Ohio once said the Amish accounts were the easiest she handled. No forms, no waiting, no collections. Amos lets no debt age, not rigid. The plain understanding that a bill left alone only grows. Number 2, want less than you could have. Beneath every rule sits the hardest discipline of all: wanting less. No new thing is bought because a neighbor bought one first. Humility sits at the center of Amish faith, and a family that does not crave simply cannot be sold to, and so cannot be pulled into debt keeping up. A bishop, asked why his people seemed so calm about money, answered plainly, "We have learned to want what we have." Amos decided long ago what enough was, and then he stopped. Not a life of denial. The rarest freedom there is, the freedom of not being for sale. Number 1, retire on people, not on a pile of money. Here is the rule that lets an Amish family retire without a single dollar of debt, and it is the sum of all the others. Amos will reach old age with no mortgage because he paid cash, no insurance premiums because the church is his insurance, no car debt, no student loans, no credit balance because he refused all 4, no nursing home bill because his children will keep him, and no need for a Social Security check because the community he spent his whole life feeding will feed him back. He does not retire on a number in an account. He retires on 300 years of neighbors keeping their word to one another. The English save a fortune to buy the security the Amish get by owing nothing and belonging to everyone. Amos Beiler will die owning his farm, owing no one, cared for by his own, and on his road, that is not the exception. It is the rule. None of this required a high income, a banker, or a dollar these families did not already hold. It required a decision that comfort is not the same as security, and that convenience is not the same as freedom. The Amish understood something the rest of America has spent a century trying to unlearn, that the ability to buy anything is worthless beside the ability to need almost nothing, and that a debt to a stranger is a chain, while a debt to a neighbor is a bond. They did not get rich, but a harness maker in Lancaster County will own his farm outright, fill his cellar, hand his land to his children, and retire without owing a living soul a dime, held up not by a bank or a government, but by the people around him. We traded all of that for credit and called ourselves modern. They kept the old rules, and the old rules kept them free.